share my screen and we'll begin. Okay. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Okay, awesome. Okay. Hello, SUSE scholars, and a huge welcome to the program orientation session for phase 1 of the SUSE Cloud Native Foundations Scholarship Program. We are extremely thrilled to be with you today. I'm Palak, one of your community managers dialing from India, and we are joined by two of my amazing colleagues from the community team, Isabel and Julianne, both dialing in from the sunny Bay Area of the United States. Together, me and Isabel will be beside you as your community managers for this journey. We also have a very special guest with us today. I think she is a little late, but she'll be joining us really soon. Rutu Sanketi, she is a past Microsoft Azure Scholarship alumni who successfully completed phase 1 and phase 2. And she is here to share her experiences of the scholarship program with you guys. Okay, so please give them all a big warm welcome in the chat. And yeah, and as we get going, just wanted to stop for a moment and give again a huge shout out and huge congratulations to all of you. You stood out and made your way through a very competitive pool of applicants, and you should be proud of yourselves for this. We are proud of you. Okay, before we get started, let's quickly go over some housekeeping items. This orientation session is being recorded, so do not worry if you miss any part of it or if you want to go through it again. We will be adding the recording along with the slides on the Scholarship Google site by the end of this week, or at least the slides by the after the session. Secondly, we will be leaving 10 to 15 minutes towards the end of the session for a live Q&A, and you can start posting your questions already for this session. And here's how you can do that. If you have a question, you can post it in the Slack channel called AMA Sessions. If you come across a question or a statement that you agree with or that you want to ask to, just go ahead and post a heavy plus emoji on that question or statement. Don't post the same question again. For the Q&A, we'll start taking the questions that have the highest number of heavy plus emojis. Julianne here will be helping us moderate the chat and also in collecting your questions from Slack. Okay, so let's glance over what will be covered today. We will begin with a quick glimpse of Udacity's history, moving on to an overview of the scholarship program. Next, we'll talk about how to access the foundations course and how to make the best use of it. Then we'll tap into the community, talking about Slack and the community initiatives that you can participate in, and also about all the resources that you will have at your disposal in phase 1. Later, you will hear from Rutu about her experience on how to succeed in the program. And finally, we will open the Q&A session. Okay. Here's a little peek into how it all started. One day in 2011, the celebrated Stanford academician Sebastian Thrun sits down in his living room with an inexpensive digital camera and starts teaching over internet using a stack of napkins instead of chalkboard. Over the next 3 months, the professor offers the same lectures, assignments, and exams to the masses as he does to his Stanford students. And some 160,000 students sign up from across 190 countries. The youngest student being of a 10-year-old and the oldest being a person of 70-year-old age. What shocked the professor the most was that in the final assessments, none among the top 412 scorers belonged to Stanford. Sebastian's experiment, called the Massive Open Online Course, was put into such wide use that the NYD declared 2012 as the year of the MOOC, and the rest is history. Or still from back in time when the videos used to be recorded in Sebastian's basement, and the fancy first dashboard of Udacity for keeping track of students' enrollments. This is how year by year Udacity is trying to increasingly open up new learning opportunities for scholars from across the globe through the various scholarships. And over to Isabel.
Hi, y'all. Welcome all. Just as a reminder, my name is Isabella Navarro, and I'll be accompanying Palak as your community manager for this scholarship program. Now, before we move forward with the orientation as planned, I would love it if we could all take a moment to pause and briefly think about the following prompt on the screen. What brought you here today? What is keeping you motivated and inspired to succeed in this course? And lastly, what do you hope to get out of this scholarship program? Research indicates that people who very vividly describe their goals are anywhere from 1.2 to 1.4 times more likely to successfully accomplish their goals than people who don't. That's a pretty big difference in goal achievement just from writing your goals on a piece of paper. So please take this moment to quickly jot these thoughts down, as we will return to these motivations at the end of today's orientation, where we will all have the opportunity to share these motivations out with one another. We will also use these motivations as a guide throughout the program, and I will ask you to return to your goals and/or motivations at both the middle and end of the program.
Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming, kicking things off with a program overview. At this point, you might be wondering what you can expect to gain from this program. Well, most importantly, you can expect to learn about and build the basic skills needed to deploy and develop cloud-native applications. And this is very timely, considering that a recent Capgemini study found that enterprise cloud-native apps will more than double in the next year, and companies such as Facebook, AT&T, and Uber are hiring experienced cloud-native professionals. Secondly, scholars in this program will have the opportunity to create numerous connections with thousands of other learners, all working towards the common goal of building their tech skills and prioritizing their growth. In fact, from a recent survey conducted in our previous scholarship community, more than 70% of students indicated that the sense of community was one of the most beneficial perks of our scholarship program. Third, we hope that this scholarship program provides many opportunities for you all to engage with your peers and have some fun. In the past, scholars have arranged social mixers with student DJs and marathon study sessions that included a pet show and tell. And lastly, there will be plenty of opportunities to give back. Here at Udacity, we believe that we are better together and that we rise when we lift others. You will have plenty of opportunities to help your peers throughout the duration of this program, and for that, we are also grateful. Great, next slide. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the structure of this scholarship program. There are two phases of the scholarship program. The first phase is called the challenge phase, and this is where we will reside for the next 8 weeks. During phase 1, you will work through the foundations course while staying active and engaged in the Slack community. Here you will be able to engage with and receive support from us, your community managers, and all of your classmates. If you haven't already, please go ahead and sign into our Slack workspace today. After the completion of phase 1, 300 out of the 15,000 scholars will move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is when you are actually enrolled in the Nano Degree program, Cloud Native Application Architecture. In this phase, you will work on completing your technical projects using the skills that you've learned from the Foundations course and the Nano Degree itself. You will need to pass all your technical and career projects in phase 2 in order to graduate and receive your Nano Degree certificate. Next slide. Great. Now to answer, how do I move on to phase 2? Selections for phase 2 are based on the following 3 criteria. First, students must complete 100% of the course material in the Foundations course. This means that all the lessons have been reviewed, all the exercises have been completed, and all the quizzes have been attempted. A quick note about quizzes. It is important to note that you will not be penalized for getting a question wrong on a quiz. You are here to learn. It's about attempting the quizzes and not whether you're getting the answers correct in one go. The second criteria is your level of participation in certain community events and initiatives organized by us, your community managers. We will dive deeper into the community initiatives that will be taken into account towards your participation at the end of today's presentation. Additionally, scholars have the option to run their own student initiatives to count towards participation, like creating a new program, challenge, or event. If at this point you are wondering why community participation, it's because time and time again, we have seen that students taking an active part in the community are twice as likely to be successful in completing the Foundations course. And lastly, the third criteria is the criteria that was used to determine your admittance into phase 1. And just as a quick reminder that in this phase one, there are no official projects that you have to submit for your foundations course. Your foundations course does not consist of any projects. Now for the real fun. Let's talk through how to get started with the foundations course, which, as you remember, 100% completion is required for selection for criteria number 1. So if you haven't checked already, the foundations course is live in your classroom, as you can see on this screen. You can log into your Udacity account right now and see the foundations course card right there on your homepage. You should have access to the Cloud Native Fundamentals Scholarship Program. So go ahead and log in if you haven't already and take a look around your Scholarship Foundations course. Next slide. Great. So once inside the course, you can begin your journey with the welcome lesson. We highly recommend taking a look at the modules in the welcome lesson, as they will help you get oriented with the Udacity classroom and all the tools you'll be working with. Once you've completed the welcome module, go ahead and get started with the technical content, which is located in the second module titled Cloud Native Fundamentals, as you can see here on the right side of, on the left side of the page. Next slide. Yeah. So because 100% course completion is one of the criteria used to determine entrance into phase 2, we've developed a nifty week-by-week outline that illustrates different checkpoints or milestones that you should aim to complete in the sequence provided in order to complete the foundations course on time. Again, this is just a recommendation. It is not required. So if you go faster or slower, it's what works best for you. We just wanted to develop a timeline that could help you visualize your different milestones or checkpoints. You can view this recommended course timeline by heading to the Scholarship Google site and looking under the Resources tab. There's also an opportunity to show off your hard work by hitting the suggested milestones at weeks 3, 6, and 8 by adding special badge emojis to your Slack profile for each milestone you hit. More information on how to add badges to your Slack profile can be found on the Google site page. So for this program, there are a few recommended prerequisites. As you can see by the list provided on this screen, because many of you have asked for ways to brush up on the skills listed here, we've gone ahead and linked some free courses that are available through Udacity, like Introduction to Python Programming. You'll be able to click into these links once we've uploaded the recording slides to our Google site after today's presentation. Previous slide.
Yeah. Let me get it back into the.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so and just to quickly talk through some things to set you all up for some success in this program. So in addition to brushing up on the prerequisites that were listed previously on the slide, we have a few more recommendations that we've collected over the years from our most successful students. So on to the next one. Most notably, please plan to spend at least 3 to 5 hours on the course each week. That doesn't necessarily need to be directly in the classroom, but at least setting aside some time to devote to the course. This could include consistent study sessions that will help you retain the information and outlining when you might set up time during your week devoted to spending time in the classroom. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what this amazing community is all about. You can reach out to your community members via the tech help or lesson channels in our Slack workspace. And last but not least, try to adhere to the Foundations course recommended timeline that we talked about earlier, which is located on the Google site. Now Palak will take you through some more important things to note.
Okay. Talking about the Foundations course alert, you would have seen something about this already on the Google site, but reiterating it again. So in order to make sure that the learning opportunities offered through this scholarship are utilized to the maximum, there is an active participation requirement in place, under which any enrolled scholars who do not make any progress in the foundation course during the first 2 weeks of phase 1 will be unenrolled from the program, and the vacated spots will be offered to students from the waitlist. To fulfill the active participant requirement, all of you must complete at least one lesson concept in the foundation course before June 21st. For which you can just follow these both of the steps mentioned here. Just log into your Udacity account and click on the Foundations course card to go inside the Foundations course and make progress in the course by clicking into at least one of the lessons and completing minimum of one concept inside that lesson. As can be seen in the image given, once you complete a concept, a green check mark will appear against it. Okay. So going over some of the key things that about the foundations course again, you have 24/7 access to the course, which means you can work upon the course based on your schedule and availability. Again, though it is a self-paced course, you need to remember that you have access to the phase 1 course only until like the end of phase 1, that is until August 2nd 2021, and that too by 11:59 p.m. PT. So you definitely should not be leaving it all for the last day. Third, you to complete 100% of the course material, you'll have to make sure that you're going through all of the videos, video lectures, attempting each and every question of the quizzes, and completing all the exercises that are there in the foundations course. You might see 100% viewed remark inside the classroom. Please be aware that this remark does not necessarily indicate your course progress, and therefore we strongly recommend that once you've completed the course, do a manual double check to make sure that you've gone through each and every concept. And lastly, you will get to know about the results of whether you are moving ahead to phase 2 or not on August 12th via email. Okay, let's dive deeper into what the Slack community entails. So as some of you would already know, those who've joined the Slack workspace, we have created a dedicated Slack workspace just for the scholarship program, and we are excited to tell you more about it. First of all, if you haven't joined it yet, you can find the invitation link, and I'm already seeing some questions regarding this in the welcome module of your foundations course. You would have received an email separately for the Slack with the Slack invitation link also. So either look into the inbox or look into the welcome module of the foundations course. And once you are inside Slack, you'll find that the community serves a variety of purposes. It is where you will easily connect with your classmates, chat with your peers about a lesson or about a topic. It's where you can get and give technical help and answers to your technical questions, and receive that support and motivation needed which is needed when things get tough. It is also the place where you will participate in the different community initiatives that Isabel will talk about in a bit. And if you are new to Slack, don't worry. We have lots of resources to get you up and running quickly. One of the biggest one is our Slack orientation that's going to happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. PT. That's 10th June, Thursday. And if you are wondering why we are placing such an emphasis on Slack, it is because not only is joining in Slack and participating in the community initiatives a selection criteria for phase 2, but also because we have seen that students who are active in the Slack community are twice more likely to complete their foundations course. And we do want you to finish that course and acquire those foundation skills once you by the end of this phase 1 journey. Okay, now once you've stepped inside Slack, here are some things we really want you to consider very sincerely. We will be mapping your Slack email address with your Udacity email address to take into account your community participation as well as your foundation course progress. And therefore, it is really important that you are signed into Slack with the same email address that you use for Udacity. If you discover that you've signed up with a different email address on Slack, don't worry, you can use the Slack settings to change the Slack email address. Another most important thing is that when you are setting up the Slack profile, it is very important to pay attention to the Slack display name. It is because your peers and your community managers too will gradually start recognizing you using your Slack display name. This is the name that appears to the community when you post something in Slack. Based on insights from our previous scholarship experiences, we have 2 guidelines in place which you need to follow when you set up your Slack display name. First, please make sure that your name is unique. We can guarantee that in such a large group, there will be more than one Amanda and more than one George. So please take a few minutes to make your Slack display name unique. And the other request is that please do not include any special characters or spaces in the Slack display name. We are really sorry, but this would mean that no accents and dashes also. So if your name currently has one of these, we would love for you to remove those special characters for us. And then, as you can see in the screenshot here on the presentation, you can obviously have the full freedom in using the accents and special characters in the full name, in the Slack full name, but not in the Slack display name. And if you are confused as to how to do any of this, how to verify your Slack email address, how to set up your Slack display name, you can use the links which are given here on the slide. We'll be sharing the slides with you after the session. Okay, moving over. Yeah, let's go over some of the community guidelines. First, we can't stress this enough, and this would be something that you would have realized yesterday during the Slack social mixer also, that always and always reply in thread. Replying in thread simply means that your reply is rolled up under the initial post. So using threads in Slack it really helps to keep the conversations organized, because you can see all the replies neatly bundled under the main post. To reply in thread, all you need to do is just hover over the post that you want to reply to and then click on the reply in thread icon. Second, make sure that you're posting in an appropriate channel. If you're unsure of what the channel is meant for, have a look at the channel header, and you'll find the channel topic there, which describes what that channel is about. And please refrain from posting the same post in multiple channels. That's spamming. And only post a message in a channel which is it will be relevant for. Third, be respectful. Remember that we are a global community, so please be mindful and considerate that we have different cultures and languages here. Whenever possible, I try to read what I've written before posting, as I don't want something to be taken in the wrong way. Fourth, remember that we are all here to learn and grow together, and we can only do that by listening and accepting constructive criticism gracefully. Likewise, if you are the one providing feedback, please keep it constructive. Be kind and sensitive to how your feedback may be received. Finally, it is extremely important that we are providing a welcoming and positive learning environment in Slack, but we can only do that with your help. So please take a moment and read our community code of conduct that lives on the Google site. Any violation of this code of conduct will result in initial warning first, and then if warranted, it might also result in complete removal from the scholarship program. Now, we know how overwhelming the Slack workspace seems to be, especially in the first few weeks of the program, but we definitely do not want you to feel that way. Slack is really at the peak activity right now with everyone streaming in, but we promise to you that things will calm down gradually. And here are 4 tips on how you can navigate the Slack workspace efficiently and so that you don't feel overwhelmed. The first tip is to always pay attention to the announcements channel. Basically your community managers will post important information in this channel and use it to announce a new community event or a challenge that you can participate in. Next, don't be concerned about following every channel. Instead, pick a couple of channels to concentrate on and add more as and when you're ready to. Third, we are in a Slack workspace, which means we are in a free Slack workspace, and it means that we have a limit of 10K messages before they start like turning over, and you'll go crazy if you try to track every single channel, because it's just not possible. So there'll be some conversations that you will tend to miss or you'll never see, but that's okay. Trust us when we say that the important items will be repeatedly visible to you and they'll be repeatedly shared by your peers. This was actually in continuation with the previous point of pasting your post in relevant channels, and then as mentioned before, attend the Slack orientation if you can, or watch the recording afterwards. We will be sharing some handy Slack tips there. Lastly, stay active by participating in the community initiatives and consider joining a study team when they're ready to go. We'll share details about that in the announcements. And okay, here to summarize the key things. Again, very important, and therefore just want to reiterate that we are on a free Slack plan. This means that we have a limit of 10K messages, and once we hit that limit, messages will start turning over. You can help keep messages from turning over too quickly by being conscious about what you post. For example, if someone asks in Slack about what's the deadline for this program, there's no need for 10 of you to say August 2nd. Likewise, take a moment before you post and think about what's the best channel to post in. Then put your message in that one channel versus posting in every channel, because, well, that's spamming. And now, please don't get us wrong. We are not saying that we don't want you to chat or talk about fun things, because we love your conversations and encourage them. They are helping forge relationships and helping to build a really strong community, which is going to be crucial for you to in phase 2. And as we have seen from past scholarships, after phase 2 too. We're just asking you to be smart and considerate while posting in Slack. and exhaust your use of the Slack emojis. We would say you can use them to express yourselves. And now Isabel will walk us through the community initiatives. Uh, hey Isabel, I think I might be facing some network issues. Can you also take over presenting?
Yes, Palak. One moment. Let me just pull up my screen really quickly. So sorry, folks. One moment, please, while I
Okay.
do my best. Oh, is it working for you, Palak?
I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
Okay, great. Let me share my screen. Please ignore my very many tabs. Oh, hold on. I'm so sorry, guys. 1 second. Let me just. Oh, so sorry. It just went away from me for 1 second. So let me just. Okay, here we go. Is it coming up?
Not yet.
Here we go.
Yep.
Okay. Can everyone? I'm so sorry, y'all. Is it coming up now?
Yes.
Okay, let me quickly
Right.
go
I'm having a patchy network, and I'm very sure that will about to die down. Yeah,
no worries. Here we go. Just quickly get back up. So as you can see on your screen now, finally we've made it back to our scheduled programming. These are the timeline of community events. Please note that this is available on our Google site. It's important that you pay attention to the community initiatives with asterisks next to them, as these will be the initiatives that count towards community participation. So very quickly, just taking you through the initiatives that will count towards participation, starting with student advocates. Student advocates is an opportunity for you to step up as a leader within your community and provide outstanding technical and moral support to help foster a sense of community. So more information will be coming out about this initiative this Friday, but very quickly, how to participate. You can apply for a role based on a form that we'll flow out to all of you this Friday. And then you have the opportunity to both moderate Slack channels and provide activities that respond to that theme within your Slack channel. So for instance, if you are in charge of the wellness channel, you might decide to put on some wellness events for the members within your channel. Secondly, we have daily Scrum. We will have 2 sprints in this program. The first is to take off next Monday. So very quickly, daily Scrum is this awesome opportunity to prepare for a technical position by participating in a daily Scrum routine. This is typically practiced in workplace environments where you identify your progress, goals, and blockers. You break down a big goal into smaller pieces. So to participate, what you'll do is you'll join the team for a 2-week sprint. You'll commit to a daily check-in by posting your status to 3 questions. What did you work on yesterday? What will you work on today? And what issues are blocking your progress? The next one is one of my favorite initiatives that we put on. It's the Student Story Challenge. So we like to think of it as our most inspiring challenge, where we'll ask you to share your personal journey with us. And what's really awesome is that our finalists have the chance to be featured on the Udacity blog. So very quickly, how do you participate? It's pretty simple. You just share your story with us. You'll answer these 3 prompts. Who were you in the past? What led you to the Udacity Scholarship Program? And who do you hope to be in the future as a result of this program? More information to come out about this initiative later on in the program, but just to get you started thinking about what you might want to share with us when this initiative does come to fruition. Lastly, one of our most exciting opportunities is actually for you all to come up with an idea for a community event or initiative. We are really excited about, and we often encourage you to participate and create your own community events that your fellow peers can participate in. So this is how you would turn your event or initiative into an actual initiative. Determine how your event will benefit your classmates. Turn it into reality. So think about gauging interest from your peers around what events you could possibly put on. Ask for volunteers to help you put on initiatives. In a workspace with 10,000 or 15,000 students, it's likely that you'll need some help to put on these initiatives. Feel free to promote and add your events to our program calendar, which is on our Google site. And make sure you invite us as well, because we might also want to attend. And then the last step is to actually host your event or initiative. What's really important is that for those who lead or put on an event or initiative, this can count towards participation. So please make sure that you fill out the event initiative completion form, which is coming soon. We'll definitely fill this out to all of you via our announcement and our Google site. And please note, all ideas are welcome. In the past, we've had some students put on a podcast. They've put on happy hours and weekly quizzes, as you can see on this slide, via a Kahoot tournament. And then lastly, we've also come up with a fun way to get people involved in the space, but also to help you all recognize when certain things are happening, because we realize that with a workspace of so many students, it can quickly get overwhelming what's happening where and when. So just so you know, we will be starting weekly routines starting next week. So on Mondays, you can look for motivations in our motivation channel. We will have what we'll call Thoughtful Tuesdays and Thursdays, which are when our AMA sessions will take place, our Ask Me Anything sessions. More information on this to come. Wednesdays, we'll have Wellness Wednesdays, so we will post some wellness tips in the wellness channel. And lastly, Friday Forecast. We will do our best to forecast upcoming events coming in the next weeks in our Friday announcements channel. Yeah, so moving on to phase 1 resources. These are the things that are going to help you all get through phase 1 successfully. So what's been mentioned already a few times, and hopefully you're already aware of this, is our SUSE Cloud Native Foundation Scholarship Google site. This is your go-to spot for everything phase 1 related. So please, 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 if you haven't already, check out this site. Go ahead and bookmark this link, because this will be your right-hand guide. This will help you throughout phase 1. And hopefully maybe even beyond. So what you can expect to find are a list of extensive FAQs answering your most frequent questions. You will also find a list of our community initiatives. And as we get closer to the launch date of these community initiatives, we will have more information on how to participate. We will also include archived Slack announcements so you don't miss anything important. As I previously mentioned, we have our calendar of events. We will also have a page with important forms and links. So if anything's shared within the community space and you think you missed it, head over to our forms and links page, because it will also be posted there. And lastly, we will have other resources like how to engage in Slack and how to use Slack to the best of your ability. So please, 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 as I mentioned, check out this site, because it will be very important for your success in the course of phase 1. Another one of your most important resources is your classmates. Whether you're connecting on Slack or in person, this scholarship community is going to be essential in helping you to complete this challenge. As you can see on this slide, this is a photo taken of one of our community groups from a community event that they put on. Unfortunately, we are not meeting in person right now, but again, this is just an example of the amazing connections that you'll make throughout this program. Another really important resource is your community team. So any questions that you have that are related to the community or the program, you can turn to Palak and I. But please note, there are 15,000 of you and only 2 of us. So please, if you do have a question, make sure that you're following steps 1 through 3 on this page, referring to the Google site, checking announcements, or attending a weekly AMA session before you privately DM Palak and I. Again, because there are 15,000 of you and only 2 of us. But of course, if you have something private or sensitive that you need to share with us, please feel free to DM. Our Udacity Slack ID are posted on this slide. Yes, and as I previously mentioned, AMA sessions are another amazing resource. AMA stands for Ask Me Anything sessions, and they are an hour-long Q&A session conducted weekly in our AMA sessions channel on Slack. You can come here to get immediate answers to any non-technical or administrative questions relating to the program. So we will be hosting our first set of AMAs this week in Welcome Week. They'll take place Thursday, June 10th at 11 a.m. PT, Thursday, June 10th at 8:30 p.m. PT, and Friday, June 11th at 10 a.m. PT. And we've also provided in these slides a link to a time zone converter for those of you who are not PT time. And then again, as I mentioned, starting next week, we will have our regularly scheduled AMAs, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. PT. And not to forget, another one of our very important resources here at Udacity is our support team for anything account related. So these questions may be like, I have a change in my registered email address, or I got accepted in the program but don't see my course card in my classroom yet. What do I do? This is where you turn to our support team. So please make sure you're following the steps in this order before you actually submit a request. Step one would be to check out our extensive FAQ page in our Help Center to see if somebody has also had a similar question to you and if it's already been answered. Once you're inside the FAQs, you can look into the category scholarships program to dial down further. And then beyond that, we'll also have a specific page related to SUSE, the SUSE scholarship program. If you still can't find your answers by looking through our extensive FAQ, please feel free to submit a request to reach our scholarship support team. The link to submit a ticket is included on this slide. Great. So we did have an issue previously with trying to get our alumni to join. Palak, has she joined?
I think with the limitations, she's also facing an issue, and yeah. So, but what we are trying to do is trying to get her to the session somehow. But we can continue with the rest of the things and the Q&A. And if she joins, she'll be here. Otherwise, we'll definitely be so the slides will definitely be there in the whole deck. But what we'll make sure to do is we'll request Rutu to record her session complete session, and we'll share that recording with all of you guys.
Sounds great. Yeah, Rutu did have some amazing advice. So I'll go ahead and skip through. But yes, like Palak mentioned,
some of the pictures maybe that Rutu had shared, and I can like maybe go over some. I know these were some of the pictures that Rutu had like gathered from the Microsoft Azure scholarship program. I know some of the previous alums from the scholarship are here, but yeah. Yep, we can walk through these. This is, I think, from the AMA session that we had with the course. It's like Anita and Abe had actually like collaborated with Udacity on creating that course, and they had joined for an AMA session with the community. So that was some amazing AMA session that we had with the Microsoft Azure people. The end of program party that we had for Azure. Yes. Yeah. Again, I think this was all Rutu's work, and we'll definitely record her advice and suggestions and her experience. She had a lot of great advice for you guys, and we'll make sure to have her record herself and share that message with you.
Yeah, awesome. So then I think we can move on to our wrapping up portion of today's event.
Okay. Okay, like some very like highlighted questions. When does the challenge phase end? It ends like the deadline, as you already know, and we've been already talking about it, is 2nd August. And do you need to complete the foundations coursework like by then? Yes, you will have to complete 100% of the foundations coursework by this deadline in order to be considered for phase 2. Are there any exceptions to the active participant requirement? Unfortunately, there cannot be any exceptions to it. So in case you are not able to make any progress until June 21st, you will be automatically unenrolled from the program. Okay, and the last one is I have to participate in the community in phase 1. I'm so sorry about the disturbance. I'll just give.
Yeah, so participation in community events and initiatives is one of the selection criteria for phase 2. While your number one priority should be your coursework, we know that students who participate in community activities are twice as likely to complete the foundations course.
Yes, thank you for taking that very simple. Okay, and yeah, there's more. Will you receive a certificate of completion? So a certificate of completion is generally not provided for like the phase 1 foundation course, but will provide you with some language on how you can like language guidance towards the end of phase 1, which you can use to highlight your experience on LinkedIn and other professional networks. And obviously you'll receive a graduation certificate if you like move ahead to phase 2 and complete your projects and graduate from the nano degree. Will you be able to access the course past August 2nd? As we'd mentioned, you will be unenrolled from the foundations course after the August 2nd deadline. But the good news is that the foundations course will be turned into a free course. We do not have a solid date yet, as in when it will be converted to free course. But sometime after phase 1 ends, the foundations course will be converted to free course. So you will have access to the free course. And in case you want to just review some of the things, you can definitely like look back into like enroll into the free course at Udacity and then go over some of the items that you wanted to. Okay, and yeah, time for the live Q&A.
Yeah, so very quickly, just as a reminder, please remember to post any questions you have for us in the AMA sessions channel in our Slack workspace. If you agree with the question or statement, please put a heavy plus emoji in as a reaction on the post, as you can see through this illustration on the screen. This way we know which questions are really, really popular. Instead of posting the same question 2 or 3 times, just go ahead and add that heavy plus emoji. We will do our best to start with the Slack questions that have the highest number of heavy plus emojis. And of course, we will do our best to get as many questions answered in the time we have allotted. If we can't answer them live, we will do our best to try and go back and answer those questions at a later time.
Yep.
So go ahead and start posting.
All right. I actually have one very exciting announcement. Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Julianne, also a community manager at Udacity, here to help with orientation today. We just got word from our alumni, and we are actually able to get her on Google Meets. So I am on with her on Google Meets, and I plan to share my screen so you can see her. And we will actually get to hear from our amazing alumni, Ruthu. So
awesome. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing so we can all hear from our amazing alumni.
Awesome. All right.
Can you go ahead? Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I will go ahead and share my screen.
And I'll share the slides with Julianne so that.
Actually, Ruthu has them shared.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just begin introducing her, and we're so sorry for the goof up, Ruthu, and we're so excited to have you again. Ruthu is one amazing scholarship alumni we have from the Microsoft Azure Scholarship. She won the scholarship and she then graduated from the machine learning with Microsoft Azure Nano degree. She's currently a software engineering intern at Microsoft, as well as pursuing a dual degree. She's pursuing aerospace engineering along with minoring in computer science at Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. And she was part of the top 5 teams, like the winner teams for the Microsoft Engage 2020 program. Yeah. Welcome, Ruthu.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I know you guys went through a lot to make this happen.
Thank you so much for coming. You rock.
Yeah, okay. So hi everyone. I cannot see everyone and I can't see your expressions. So I'm hoping everything is good and you guys can see me, and I hope everyone is safe and doing well at home. So as Palak said, I am Ritu. I'm a 4th year undergraduate at IIT Kharagpur. I am pursuing an aerospace major right now. And I am a graduate of the machine learning with Microsoft Azure Nano degree, and I won the scholarship, and that's how I took the Nano degree. So I'll just take you today through my experience, and I'll give you some tips, and I'll show you, some a sneak peek into your scholarship experience. So I'll start with my experience, and I'll talk about how to manage your time, how to get involved, and finally some exciting pictures of my time as a scholar. So my experience in the ML with Azure scholarship. So I'll talk about the initiatives I was involved in. So I was one of the student leaders of the AMA channel. I think by now you guys should know what student leaders are, or the maybe it's been named differently, but basically our work was to transcribe the AMA sessions and answer questions asked by the community. Just overall help the community managers and clear the doubts of the students. I was also part of 2 study groups. So we used to meet almost twice a week. We used to take quizzes together. We used to stay awake all night, participate in hackathons. We used to participate in the study jams. And of course, we played Scribble and Among Us together. I also worked on this musical recommender system. And I worked on a system to detect the make and model of a license plate. This was really great because this actually ended up on my resume, which probably got me noticed. So yeah, this was my first project, which I did with my study group. Apart from that, I participated in the 50 Days of Udacity Challenge, which is where, we spend at least 30 minutes every day on the foundation course on any topic. It need not be the core concepts or the video lectures. It can be anything related to ML or Azure, like based on my nano degree thing. So this really actually helped me do my course and finish it on time, because I was active every day on Slack, and I was seeing, okay, everyone else is doing it. And everyone else is posting their daily encouragement, and, they're saying, okay, I'm on day 30, day 40. So this is really encouraging and helped me finish my course. The other initiatives, as I said, the study jams were like these super amazing jam-packed, marathon sessions. So there was live Slack support, like everyone was online. There were webinars happening every hour, on the hour. There were quizzes, crosswords, puzzles, and like we used to play games in like breaks every 2-3 hours. We used to play like Scribble and Bingo. And there was also this shared playlist on Spotify, which was like curated by everyone. So it was great. Like I still listen to that playlist. It has songs from like all languages, all types of songs. So that was great. Apart from this, there were also a lot of other challenges, like the visual challenge, which was just like you create any visual or infographic related to the foundations course. I got to admit, I'm not really great at all of this, but I still tried my hand, and it was a fun, like a side project, or it was a fun thing to get my hands into. Then there was the student story challenge, which was about writing our experiences as students, and what motivated us to apply for this scholarship, what we're passionate about. This really made me go into my it was a thought-provoking sort of thing, where I had to think about what I really wanted out of my experience and how I was going to get it. So that was the student story challenge. So now I'll go to how to manage your time. So since this is a long-term scholarship program with a lot of initiatives happening every day, time management is really important, I feel. So these are like some pointers which help me, and I'm hoping will help you guys as well. So there are a lot of apps like Airtable and Notion, which I don't know if you guys know them already, but they allow you to build databases where you can visualize it as a calendar. You can also add a lot of resources. So this is really perfect for prioritizing tasks and all of that. So that is one thing I really feel helped me. The other thing is, like every day I would narrow down the main tasks I had for that day, like in order of urgency to not urgency. So like if I had to do the foundations course, that would be my top priority. Then it would be one of the challenges, like the 50 Days of Udacity challenge. Then the last one would probably be like a project I'm doing with my study group. So like I would write all of these down and then try to get as much done in a day, right? So then I know what my goal is and I can delegate accordingly. This is another major issue which I have is procrastination. So how I got around it was I would set an alarm daily at a particular time. So I am mostly awake at night, so I'm really nocturnal. So I would set a time at night for half an hour, and every time the alarm rang, I would just stop whatever I was doing, spend some time on the foundations course. And I think it was really easy because 30 minutes a day is more than enough to get it done. So this should work for people with issues with procrastination. Yes, now let's come to the very important, like most important part, knowing when to take breaks and, prioritizing your mental well-being. Because, consistency is key. Since this is a long-term project, instead of being very, very active for the first 10 days, it makes much more sense to be active for a few minutes, even at least 10 minutes every day. Then you won't burn yourself out, and you also keep retaining your interest, right? So just remember to be consistent, and also do not forget to prioritize your personal lives and goals. Like, I really understand that everyone, like many of you will have families, long hours at work, especially now that it's the pandemic. I feel like I am more busy than I was before. So I understand that you guys have a lot of other stuff going on. So just remember to prioritize your personal well-being as well. And, always feel free to reach out for help in case of any issues. This I feel is really valid for not only the foundations course, but in general, it is very important to step away from the screen. Like I myself, as a software engineer, I am spending at least 12 hours every day on my laptop. So I feel it's really important every hour or at least every 2 hours to just like walk around for 5-10 minutes, do some exercises, just chill a bit before going back to your work, which is really important. Apart from that, a good night's sleep. I mean, I love sleeping, but yeah, good night's sleep is really healthy. So do not forget to take naps during the day as well if you want to recharge. So just remember that your mental and physical health and well-being should not play second fiddle to the work you're doing. So how do you get involved in the community? So the first major thing is to just sign up. So Udacity has a lot of roles which your community managers, who are amazing by the way, will reach out to you about. So they have the student leaders, the study group leaders, hackathon organizers. So even if you do not have experience before, I would strongly recommend that you just sign up for as many as possible, because these are like a million ways to get involved and participate, and it really helps you get out of your comfort zone and interact with a lot of people. So, and it really helps, and it helps you make a difference in the community. So signing up is one really important thing which you should just take the incentive to do. As I mentioned, be on the lookout for Udacity initiated activities like the 50 days of Udacity. I don't know if the challenges are still named the same, but like there will be a lot of challenges which will be rolled out throughout your case, like study jams and the project showcase. So always be on the lookout on the Slack channel, and remember that you do not have to spend hours and hours on code in order to make some progress. Like in the Udacity labs, you do not need to spend a lot of hours. So like 1 or 2 hours, even an hour once in a while is much more than enough. So just keep that time ratio in mind, and every little bit of progress accumulates over time. Yes, this starting initiatives is I feel it's a very cool thing which I myself didn't do, but a lot of my friends started these initiatives during my scholarship. The project showcase was started by my friends because they were so excited about the projects they had done and they wanted to share it with everyone else. So if you feel that your community needs something or would benefit from something, just always feel free to reach out to your managers. They are always there. They will always get back to you and they will help you set up your initiatives. So just always, keep trying to keep the tempo of the group high and, get with your own initiatives. So yeah, the final thing, like a few takeaways I just wanted to say about what I got from the scholarship and what I hope you guys will get to. So this scholarship helped me grow as a person, not only in my career because of what I'm adding to my skill set by taking this course, but also it helped me grow my soft skills because I was participating in so many activities and I was organizing so many hackathons. So I really got out of my comfort zone. I interacted with a very, very diverse community. So it really helped me network as well. And if you feel like you did not have leadership skills before, this is your chance to try those shoes on, because the scholarship program allows you to become a leader, and it is not very hard, right? It's a very like uplifting sort of community. So you should not pass that opportunity up. And yes, do not be afraid to rely on others for help. Like always ask for help, take breaks, and keep reaching out. So I had actually written an article. I think these slides will be shared with you guys. So if you guys want to check out the article I wrote about my entire experience, feel free to do so. Yes, so the final little treat I had was a few pictures I collected over the course of my scholarship. So this was during the study jam where the students had organized the posters. So this was the poster for study jam 3, and this was the poster for the Spotify playlist which we had created. This was my study group. We used to meet like once or twice a week, just chill out, do some work, do some project work. So this was my study group. this was this Brenda was our community manager, and this was a session which we had with Microsoft program managers. So they had basically, Anita and Abhay had actually created the course. So we actually got to interact with them, learn about what they thought about while making the course, what the takeaways they hope we'd have. So it was very insightful and, a really fun opportunity. This was our end of program party. So we had all gathered one last time. It was really emotional because over the 2.5 months, I'd really gotten close to some of the people here. So this was during the end of program party. And the final picture, which we all made for our community managers, Brenda and Palak, to, just thank them for being such amazing people. And this word cloud of, all the scholars in the program together. So yeah, that's about it from my side. I just wanted to say welcome to the program, and you're going to do great, and always reach out to your managers.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ruthu.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Ruthu. Apologies again for the goof up, and thank you so much, Julianne and Ruthu, both of you, for making sure that you joined and you shared your very valuable experience.
I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you. Okay, and we are very sure that this, Ruthu, because we really wanted her to join and share, because this would be some really tips that are coming from someone who has gone through the experience, and especially about how you can manage your time with all the things that you've already that are already going around you. We are hoping that some of the things that Ruthu shared would be useful for you. Okay, and we can go ahead and begin the Q&A now. Hey, Julianne. Okay.
Great.
Hello. All right. Thank you for your patience. I was sending you two on our way.
Yeah, okay. We are all set to start with the Q&A session. I know we lost on some of the time, but in case any one of you is having a commitment, we understand. And if you want to leave, we will just extend at least by 5 minutes to make sure we cover some of the questions. But we'll definitely be going into the AMA sessions channel. So if you have placed a question there, we'll cover that after the session, and we'll quickly try covering some of the questions here.
Awesome. Yes. So one of the main questions I'm seeing coming up is regarding community participation. And so essentially, given that there are 15,000 scholars in this scholarship, what does community participation look like in terms of Slack participation and community events?
Yes. Okay. So this time we'll definitely try to we know we've always been it's an ongoing feedback from community past communities that we can try to be more elaborate with the community participation criteria. So this time we've tried to boil it down to really two pieces, one of which is participating in the community sponsored initiatives, and not all the initiatives, but we've marked down every initiative or challenge coming from the community managers that will be taken into account towards your community participation. You can see that on the scholarship Google site under the communities tab. You'll see all the challenges are marked down, so you know that participating in these definitely is considered towards community participation. And then the second thing is we know that the best of the challenges, the best of the initiatives, the best of the events come from the community itself. So we really wanted to consider that as participation, and so therefore that is considered whenever you are organizing an initiative and event. For the community, that is considered towards your community participation. And we know we'll be sharing some guidelines around it, and also how you can record it, let us know that you have concluded an initiative or an event. So we'll be sharing some major guidelines around it and the process around it in the coming days.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And in a similar vein, some questions around what are the criteria for getting to phase 2? You mentioned the community participation, but any other criteria for phase 2?
Yes. Yep. The phase, the first criteria, as Isabel had walked us through, is completing the foundation scores. That is the very first criteria for being considered for phase 2. You have to go through the foundations course completely, complete all the quizzes, the exercises, all the lectures, each and every concept until you've gone through the whole foundations course. And then the second criteria, as we just talked about, was participation in the community. And the third criteria will be the same things and the same your application information, like from phase 1, the same criteria that was used to select you for phase 1. And Isabel, do you want to add anything?
I just want to add that it's really, really important to make sure that you have 100% course completion. So that means it's a great idea to always go back if you think you're 100% completed and do a manual double check. You'll want to make sure, again, Palak mentioned it, but it's so important. View all the lessons, complete all the exercises, and attempt all the quizzes.
Awesome. Thank you. And so another number is around the phase 2 nano degree. Basically, after this program, is there a 300 student limit to the nano degree? If you do make it to the nano degree, what are the job opportunities around that? Are they mostly in the DevOps field? Or will there be some sort of certificate at the end of that nano degree? And if you do not make it to the nano degree, what are some next steps for those scholars?
Okay, I'll go ahead, and Isabel, please free to hop in and add to the things. Okay, a lot of questions, so I'll start with yes, there are 300 spots for now, and we unfortunately do not see an increase in those number of spots for phase 2 because that is something that comes from the collaboration with the partner and between the the collaboration between Udacity and the partner. That said, we want you to make sure that you are making the whole use of this opportunity that you've got, in at least for the foundations course. So do not try to give your best, try to utilize the resources as much as you can. And from some of the experiences that I can share, and I'm sure some of your some of our past Microsoft Azure scholarship students who are there, and even Bertelsmann AI, Bertelsmann Cloud Track students who are there in the SUSE workspace also, they'll also agree to it that they were able to build on a lot of skills during phase 1 itself. They were groups, they were trying to get ahead on various certifications. I knew especially the Microsoft Azure scholarship students were working on as a group, working on different certifications to upskill. So the avenues are huge. You can utilize the Slack community, you can utilize the connections that you have for a multitude of things. So don't try to restrict yourself. Utilize this 8 weeks of duration as much as you can. And of course, when you are giving your best, definitely you are in for the competition to get ahead to phase 2. But that said, yeah, we do not have a control over the numbers of phase 2. And the next questions, Julianne, were about, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good. Specifically job opportunities and yes.
Okay, yes. And to mention about the job opportunities, I can say that we do not guarantee any job opportunities as such. There are no direct job opportunities, but that said, when you're building up a skill, using Udacity nano degree programs, especially when you are working on the projects, those are something that you can actually include in your resumes, in your CVs, and when you are going applying for a career shift or for upskilling or for a newer role. So what we have received from our graduates and alumni is that after taking a course and after graduating from a nano degree program, they were able to secure more job opportunities or gain more opportunities in the current role. So yeah, and a live example of that would be how Rutu utilized the projects that she had worked upon using phase 1 and phase 2 in her CV, and to position herself as a more skilled person. So
Thank you for mentioning that, Palak. And I just quickly posted in our chat a link to some student success stories from students who have both completed nano degrees, but also have gone through our scholarship program. And something else I was going to point out about this, but the thought just left me. Apologies. Just to note that, again, we do not guarantee a role, but these skills are definitely things that you can utilize and build upon as you move forward. And it's great to talk about, especially if you decide to lead a community event or initiative. It'll be a great resource to touch on in an interview or on a resume, that you were selected to be a part of this program, but also that you've taken on a leadership role, et cetera. So I think there's benefits to both being a member of phase 1 as well as phase 2.
Awesome.
I'm just seeing some questions around the deadline, so I just want to quickly clarify. The phase 1 deadline is August 2nd, so it's basically a self-paced course. But to help you with keeping track of the course, we reached out to our content team and our program experience team, and they helped us in devising what could be a safe track for all of you to pursue, so that you are in a safe zone and are able to complete the foundations course well in time before the phase 1 deadline. So there is no hard deadline. There's only one hard deadline, which is August 2nd for phase 1 for completing the foundations course. But we highly recommend using the milestones and the recommended course timeline that we put together, and it is on the Google site. We'll also send you the link in the announcements, just so that you can make sure that you are moving with the right pace. Okay. I think we can just take a few more questions, and then we'll have to wrap up, but we'll make sure to cover the questions in the EMA sessions channel. Any questions that you're seeing, Julianne?
You are hitting on a lot of them. There was questions about timelines and what happens if you finish early. So you could touch on that. And then a few folks asking about prerequisites for the course and what they need to know.
Yes, we know that there are a lot of prerequisites for the course, and in case you haven't been able to get to them already, you can start with it right now and make sure start scheduling your things right away. I know that a lot of students, a lot of your peers have already been posting some very useful resources to easily get on with the prerequisites, just the minimum amount of knowledge that you use to complete the exercises and the quizzes. So delve into the Slack community to see what are these resources that are being shared by your peers, and make a proper schedule and try to give at least utilize the first week and maybe half of the next week based on your schedule to work upon those prerequisites.
All right. And I know we're at time here, so I have started answering some questions in the Slack workspace, but I will reiterate that we will all jump in there and work to answer more of those questions.
Yes, and I also recognize that we are running low on time. And so I know I promised to check back in with our motivation activity, which I'm going to do now over in the motivation channel on Slack. So look for my little announcement there on how to participate and share your motivations and intentions from today.
Yes, we are very, very eager to see all of yours real strong motivations behind joining the scholarship program. And just a last reminder that we'll be placing the recording, we'll be adding the recording on the Google site, we'll be sending the recording as soon as it's available through the announcements also, and we'll be adding it to the Google site. So don't worry if you missed some part. And we also are having another program orientation session, this same session. So if you missed some part of it, but you have the bandwidth to attend the next session, you can do that. We are doing that tonight, PT time, 8:30 p.m. Okay, it was amazing to see you all here, and we are hoping to have a very, very exciting time for this whole 8-week of journey. So yeah.
Yes, we're rooting for all of you. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, great to meet you all over this webinar, and we'll see you in the scholarship.
Woo-hoo.
See you all in the EMA sessions channel. And in case you have more questions, you can always look at the FAQs tab on the scholarship Google side. And of course, we have 3 AMA sessions coming up this week. So in case you have a question, you can attend any of those AMA sessions and ask your live questions to us using the AMA sessions channel on Slack.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right.
Talak, you can send us out with some music if you have it. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Great to see y'all.